Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and welcome to Season 13 of Pokemon Go Battle League. As with any new season, there are of course move updates, so there is plenty new to try out. Today, I'm going to be testing out NOCTOWL in the Great League Remix Cup. Now, NOCTOWL's fast move Wing Attack is getting a buff in the new season, meaning that it is going to generate more energy. This is going to allow NOCTOWL to spam out charge moves even faster, making it an absolutely deadly Pokemon to use if you're looking to rank up. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out NOCTOWL in action in the Great League Remix Cup. Hopping into the first match, picking up a bit of a tough lead, NOCTOWL into Steelix. I'll throw one Wing Attack and then Safe Switch into Dubwool. My opponent is going to farm up and then send in Surfetched. Very nice to bait out the counter user, and since they were a bit slow on the switch, Dubwool is going to wreak absolute havoc onto this Surfetched. Body Slam number 1 does get the shield, Body Slam number 2 gets them deep into the red, and they're forced to fire off a charge move. So the Dubwool Safe Switch works great, baiting out the counter user, and on top of that, I can grab an early shield advantage. I'm going to wait my timer a little bit and then send back in NOCTOWL to farm down. As I mentioned, Wing Attack does generate energy quicker than it did before, and that's quite nice because being able to spam out charge moves on a Pokemon as bulky as NOCTOWL just makes it an incredibly powerful pick. They're going to go for the Psychic Fangs, that's perfectly fine. NOCTOWL shrugs it off, and I'm going to return fire with the neutral Shadow Ball. This will get some nice chip damage, and then I'm going to send in my own Steelix. I definitely prefer the Shadow to the regular, because the Shadow hits significantly harder. I have 2 shields, I'm expecting they go Psychic Fangs, and they do. In the back, they have Pelipper. Now these Weather Balls, since my defense is lowered due to that debuff, will actually hurt, but the nice thing is, since I do have a shield advantage, I can very safely shield these charge moves that they're going to throw. They go for the Weather Ball, I commit the shield. I'm going to full send the Crunch here, hoping my opponent decides to call a Fang. This Crunch is going to get shielded as my opponent correctly anticipates that I try and go for the kill shot. I will shield their next move and then fully commit to the farm down here. These Shadow Dragon Tails, able to knock them out. I send back in NOCTOWL. Steelix is forced to fire off a charge move. They have to crunch here. A Psychic Fangs will not KO. They go for the Psychic Fangs. NOCTOWL barely able to hang on, and thanks to that extra energy generated by Wing Attack, I reach the Shadow Ball, farm down, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, picking up a bit of a tricky lead, NOCTOWL into Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn does of course have access to Thunder, which would hit for super effective damage. I'm going to farm up, fire off the Sky Attack just before they're able to reach their Thunder. I'm going to throw one more Wing Attack here, switch, and then catch the Thunder onto my Dubwool. This is perfect. Hopefully I can bait out their best response to a Steelix, and they actually send in Pelipper. That is perfectly fine by me, as even Dubwool below half health will be able to put in a lot of work against this Pelipper. Pelipper will go for the Weather Ball, and I will immediately no-shield, as a Weather Ball is not going to be enough to take out Dubwool. Dubwool going for Body Slam number 2. This will get that Pelipper quite low. Pelipper is going to let that through and commit to the farm down. Speaking of committing to the farm down, that's exactly what I'm going to do with the NOCTOWL. Even though Pelipper is able to reach the last second Hurricane, that is fine by me. I'm just going to take the damage, and in the back, my opponent has their own NOCTOWL. I will fire off the Sky Attack to get some chip, and then send in Shadow Steelix. My goal is just to farm up and get ahead on energy here. They will go for the Shadow Ball. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm going to let the Shadow Ball through. They're staying in, so I actually changed my mind and I decide to go for a Crunch. This will come very close to KOing. Crunch is able to land. They're going to send in the Ferrothorn, and I'm just going straight for the Psychic Fangs here because I can lower their defense more and more and cause my Dragon Tails to eat away at their remaining HP. I will fire off the Psychic Fangs. It does get the shield. My opponent continues to farm. These Dragon Tails are getting them incredibly low. It's another CMP tie. To play it safe, I am going to expend my final shield here. If they shield, I can just Wing Attack down with my NOCTOWL. They decide to let it through. I bring in my Owl. I get the snipe. They bring in their Owl. My NOCTOWL is able to farm down and get the win. Picking up a neutral lead in the next match, NOCTOWL into Pelipper. My opponent is going to save switch into Dunsparce. I'm going to farm up, try and go for the Rock Slide catch, but my opponent holds on to their energy. I definitely tried to get a bit fancy with it, and I am going to suffer the consequences as I will get hit with double drill runs. The nice thing, however, is that Dunsparce does not hit particularly hard. They fire off 2 super effective drill runs, and I'm still alive and not in a range where they're going to be able to farm down. I will reach a Psychic Fangs unless they throw, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So I decide to let this go. At this point, I've already made the mistake. I'm just going to let the Steelix go and get energy on my NOCTOWL, and hopefully NOCTOWL will do well in the back, but my opponent has their own Steelix. I will go straight for the Shadow Ball, get some chip damage, and send in Dubwool. Dubwool is going to be met with the Pelipper. My opponent did not go for a Psychic Fangs before they switched out, and that is definitely to my advantage. I will fire off the first Body Slam. Second one, as we've seen, is not going to KO, but will get them quite low. I'm going for Body Slam number 2. My opponent is going to commit the shield. I will continue to farm. I'll let this go. Odds are they're not going to full send the Hurricane. They do go for the Weather Ball. That's perfectly fine. This is Weather Ball number 2, and I do need to start shielding. I want to try and preserve this Dubwool if at all possible. I go for the Body Slam. This Body Slam will get them low, and my switch timer will be up soon. Body Slam connects. In comes the NOCTOWL, going for the snipe, but they're able to survive, bringing back in the Steelix. But their Steelix is close to half health, and this is a matchup that NOCTOWL can now win. I'm going to start spamming out these Sky Attacks, because I recognize that 2 Sky Attacks plus the Wing Attack damage should be enough to KO. I don't even need to go for the neutral Shadow Ball. I shield in case they crunch. They do full send the crunch, and that works out very nicely for me. I'm already almost at the back-to-back Sky Attacks. NOCTOWL is just too spammy. I reach Sky Attack number 2. This is going to get them very low. They live on 1 HP. I snipe with the Dubwool. And this point, this game is done. They bring back in the Pelipper, but Pelipper cannot reach enough charge moves. Body Slam is going to take down the Pelipper. Hopping into the next match, switching NOCTOWL into Charizard. Charizard is probably going to be running Wing Attack, although we don't find that out because they're going to save switch into their Credilli. I'm going to stay in here, fire off the Sky Attack, and then look to catch the Stone Edge. Sky Attack connects. I'm going to switch into my Shadow Steelix, but unfortunately, I'm not able to catch. At the very least, Grass Knot will only hit for neutral, but my opponent is running an incredibly spicy moveset. They are running Bulldoze on their Credilli. Bulldoze will do quite a bit of damage. They go for the Grass Knot, but I'm barely able to hang on and reach the last second crunch. This crunch is going to take down Credilli, and I'm able to win switch. That is quite nice. My opponent probably going to be bringing back in the Charizard to get an energy lead. Charizard is running Wing Attack, and they do get the farm down, and I'm going to match with my own Wing Attack user. I'm going to send in NOCTOWL. They do have a decent amount of energy here on the Zard, so I will commit a shield. My opponent goes for a Dragon Claw. That is quite unfortunate. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure of the new Charizard Wing Attack counts. Sky Attack gets them low. I continue to farm. I'm scared this could be a Blast Burn, so I will commit the final shield. They go for another Dragon Claw. In the back, they have Barbaracle, and they have 2 shields, and this is basically the worst possible Pokemon I can see in this moment. And from here, I'm pretty much expecting that I am going to lose. Barbaracle has Cross Chop available for the Dubwool and Stone Edge for the NOCTOWL, so I am in a lot of trouble here. They're going to fire off Cross Chop number 2. Cross Chop is going to get me low, and I'm going to bait with a Body Slam. I need to try and grab a shield here. Body Slam bait does get shielded by Barbaracle. I will reach one final Body Slam. I'm hoping that Body Slam plus Sky Attack is going to be enough to KO. Body Slam gets them low. I'm going to send back in NOCTOWL. It's a race. I get to the Sky Attack, but I lose CMP. I got absolutely spiced on. Barbaracle takes out the NOCTOWL, and that is a good game. The day 1 spice continues in the next match, NOCTOWL into Breloom. My opponent stays in, takes a couple air slashes, decides that matchup is not a good one to stay in, and they're going to bring in Kanto Muck. I'll fire off the Sky Attack, grab an early shield, farm up, switch, and then bring in Shadow Steelix. The worst they can go for is a Dark Pulse, but they only go for a Thunder Punch, which is going to be incredibly resisted by Steelix. Steelix is going to fire off the Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs is going to get them very low. I still tank whatever they throw, so I'm going to let this through. My opponent goes for yet another Thunder Punch. At this point, I'm just expecting their single move, and if they bring back in the Breloom is not going to appreciate the Dragon Tail Psychic Fangs combo. Psychic Fangs gets a shield from the Breloom. Breloom getting incredibly low, and they're forced to fire off a charge move. You love to see it. Breloom goes for a Sludge Bomb that is triple resisted, and it's not enough to KO. NOCTOWL able to farm down in the back. They have Typhlosion Typhlosion, and Typhlosion is not going to appreciate a 2-shielded Noctowl. First Sky Attack is going to connect. Typhlosion continues to farm. At this point, they just recognize the game's over. I am able to reach a second Sky Attack. This will be more than enough to take care of the Typhlosion and secure the win. Battle of the normal flyers in the next match, NOCTOWL into Pidgeot. Now Pidgeot can also run Wing Attack, but this one is running Air Slash. Wing Attack definitely going to be preferred in the new season as it allows you to get to charge moves like with NOCTOWL extremely quickly. Sky Attack is able to connect. This is enough for the Brave Bird. Tough decision to make. Are they baiting? I call the bait. I get hit with a Brave Bird. They send in Unova Stunfisk, and I panic switch. The fact that they switched in Stunfisk, I'll be honest, I was expecting it was a Thundershock Stunfisk, so I send in my Steelix just to be met with a Mudshot Stunfisk, and this is quite bad. I'm going to fire off Psychic Fangs. That's not going to do a lot of damage. I do get the ever-important defense drop, but at this point, I'm thinking it may honestly be worth it to double shield my Steelix to make sure that I can get rid of this Stunfisk. Stunfisk, definitely not a fun Pokemon for this team to see. I'll fire off another Psychic Fangs. They're going to let that through, reach one more Mud Bomb, and I am perfectly fine with double shielding here. I will double shield, farm all the way down, and leave with some energy to take on whatever they have in the back. And in the back, they have a second ground type in Whiscash. So honestly, once the Pidgeot was gone, my Steelix did not have a lot of places to run. I'm going to switch into Dubwool to absorb the Mud Bomb energy and save the Steelix for later. Dubwool is going to be met with Pidgeot. I'm going to try and commit to the farm down here. Dubwool barely not able to get there as they'll reach a last second move. It's just a Feather Dance, but I am now debuffed. I leave with a ton of energy, but Whiscash does have some bulk to it, so they do not have to shield these body slams right away, since they're not doing as much damage as they typically would. I'm at 2 more body slams, but again, 1 body slam is not going to be lethal here. My opponent is going to let that go. I'm just going to continue to farm up, firing off another body slam. This one, they will have to start shielding, so we will see a shield. Aggressive switch into Steelix, and my opponent is going to fire off a charge move, but I got the Dragon Tail through. So honestly, I may be able to farm down here. I'm going to send back in the Dubwool. Dubwool is able to reach the body slam. Body slam will be grabbing the final shield from the Whiscash. Whiscash is forced to throw, and I have a charge move loaded on my NOCTOWL from earlier in the match. NOCTOWL able to fire off the Sky Attack. So despite a very unfortunate switch in the mid-game, NOCTOWL still able to get the job done. Hopping into the final match, leading NOCTOWL into Raichu. Definitely not a fun Pokemon to see on the lead. I throw 1 Wing Attack, and I'm going to save switch into my Dubwool. They're staying in here, which works out nicely for me. I'm going to let this through. It is just a Thunder Punch, and now I'm going to begin to return fire with the Body Slam. 1 Body Slam will not KO, but it will get the Raichu extremely low. Raichu lets that through, as that is able to connect. A second Thunder Punch would probably take me out here, so I will commit the shield, overfarm by 1, and then fire off another Body Slam. They are low on health. Do they want to commit a shield? They do not. They're going to take shield advantage for Berserker. Berserker farming up, and they're going to fire off a charge move. I'm going to let this through. Berserker goes for the close combat, so they're definitely running an interesting moveset there. Maybe running Iron Head as a second move, but since they're debuffed, I'm just going to fire off the Sky Attack. They're debuffed. They should be a pretty safe shield that I can grab from my opponent. In the back, they have Wigglytuff, and I'm in a great spot to close out this game. I'm just going to land a Sky Attack and farm down with Steelix. They commit the shield. That's perfectly fine by me. The quick energy generation of Wing Attack, I'm already at another Sky Attack. So we will be able to land our Sky Attack, send in the Shadow Steelix, farm all the way down, and leave with a Crunch loaded to take out Berserker. I don't care what they throw here. Wigglytuff actually running Hyper Beam. That did a surprising amount of resistant damage, but Steelix just does not care. Farms all the way down and leaves with a Crunch loaded. Shadow Crunch will be easily taking down the Berserker, and that is a good game. To be honest, even prior to Season 13, NOCTOWL was a meta threat, and with the Wing Attack buff, it is now even better. You take a Pokemon that's as bulky as NOCTOWL, and you make it even easier to get to charge moves, this thing is going to be an absolute threat in Open Great League and the Great League Remix Cup, and definitely a Pokemon, if you don't have built yet, I would recommend building, because this thing is an absolute beast. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.